Sitting down here, part of the All City Network, DLS, we're sitting down with the legendary Jim Gray. It is Canelo Crawford Fight Week. We are on Radio Row here. Jim, thank you so much for taking the time with us
Good to be
here
with
with the All City Network and DLS Sports. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you so much for joining us here. It is one of the biggest fights of the year, the biggest fight of the year, one of the biggest fights over the past 10, 15 years. When you look at Canelo versus Crawford, what immediately comes to mind about the spectacle of this fight and what this fight means for both of Canelo and Bud Crawford here?
That it's going to be in Allegiant Stadium, that it's going to be on a big platform on Netflix, that it's going to have, a place where the NFL plays, the Raiders every week, and that it's a big night for the institution. I mean, Canelo has been, a huge megastar in boxing for a decade. Bud Crawford is undefeated, and we don't get these kind of big fights in boxing anymore. And it's been a difficult road for boxing to get to these fights. And even though it's not the same weight class and there's differences in weight and so forth, what we have is two big name fighters, two of the top most accomplished guys in the sport, and now they're facing off against each other. So that's what I think of. I just think, boxing is big. This is the boxing capital of the world, and now it's here in Las Vegas, and the biggest place in Las Vegas, where there's going to be whatever there's going to be, 65, 55, 75,000 people, whatever it turns out to be. It's going to be a lot of people.
Frazier, Ali, Hagler, Leonard, Tyson, Holyfield, the biggest names of the sport fighting on the biggest stages. Where does this fight fit for you throughout the history of boxing, about what this fight means, not just for the sport itself, but the future of the sport going forward?
Well, I think it's a great place to be, okay? We can't assign something we don't know the outcome to.
Sure.
Hagler-Hearns was a great fight because it was a great fight for 3 rounds, okay? Tyson-Holyfield was memorable, might have been for the wrong reasons, but nobody had ever bit anybody's ear before, and it happened in a championship fight, and it was over, here in Las Vegas at the MGM Grand. So, for it to go down into the pantheon of great fights, it has to be a great performance by both of them, and it has to be leaving people wanting more or seeing what they saw and being satisfied. Look, we had Mayweather and Pacquiao, and that was a fight that baked forever. And, by the time it got to us, it had overbaked.
Sure.
And so it's not to take away from Floyd, but Manny Pacquiao had a shoulder problem. The fight was 4 or 5 years too late. And so what we got wasn't them at their best.
Sure.
So we can't say this is going to be great for boxing until we see what it is. Going into it, it's a great night. Coming out of it, let's hope it's better than a great night.
Sure. Who has more to lose in this fight, Canelo or Crawford, when you look at the two fighters here?
Well, Canelo. That's fairly, I don't want to say the word obvious, but it's fairly obvious, yes. Of course, he's considered by many to be the greatest Mexican fighter, one of the greatest fighters ever to walk this planet. He holds the title.
Yeah.
The guy's coming up in weight to him, so the guy who's coming up, what's the expectation level? It certainly can't be that you're going to beat who's been the best.
Sure.
And no, this will make Bud Crawford's career. This is more than the icing on the cake. This is a large portion of the cake. For Canelo, there's a lot more to lose, I believe, than for Bud.
When you look at just not only boxing...
It's not to say he's going to lose.
Sure.
You asked me a question. I'm just trying to respond to
No,
lose.
Understood.
Yeah.
It's the compelling fight between these two is obviously going to be a spectacle across sport. You've been around sports for a long time. You've been to some great sports towns, Dallas, Philadelphia, Chicago. Part of our LCD network, we've got 5 cities. We obviously represent Dallas. For you, what's the best sports town that you've been to, and why is it Dallas? No, I'm just joking.
Wow. That's a good question. It's a hard question. It depends on the time
when
you're evaluating it. What was better? What was better than the 80s in Chicago? The Bears, the coach.
Yeah.
We'll never forget that. And it was added to by the coming of the Bulls. We had Michael Jordan, and now that took a while to ferment, and that took a while to get to where it was. But then by 1991, you had 6-year proximity, and you also had the White Sox, believe it or not, were playing in the playoffs back during those times. Okay, Cubs were still in their drought, but so Chicago at that time, that was great. Philadelphia, I worked in Philadelphia, worked for the 76ers, did the broadcast in '83. The Phillies had won. a few years before. The Flyers had won a few years before.
Yeah.
The Eagles went to the Super Bowl and didn't win. So that was a glorious time in Philadelphia with the Broad Street Bullies and Dr. J. And, you know, Tug McGraw, and Mike Schmidt and the Phillies. Pete Rose was on the team. Joe Morgan. So that was a great time at that time there. When you ask that now, that's kind of hard to assess.
Sure.
Because everybody's kind of winning all over the place, right? Everybody's kind of have.
Unfortunately, Philly's the Super Bowl champs right now, but you know.
Has one of the four, but not all four in the mix, or one of the three. And, you know, Dallas has had their day. I mean, and the Mavericks, you know, they won. And back in the Cowboys, they were, you know, they didn't become America's team, you know, because they didn't win. They became America's team because they did win. So, I don't know. What would you say it is right now?
I'm partial to Dallas. I'm partial to that because I'm a big Cowboys fan. So I'm sure our Philly folks would say it's Philly.
I don't think the people in LA would go along with that.
I'm sure
they've got, you know, lived in LA for a long time.
Yeah.
And they've got the Dodgers back on top, and the Lakers and LeBron, and they haven't won, but you know, they've got a lot going on there that's been pretty good. The Rams
for sure
won the Super Bowl a few years ago. Chargers seem like a team on the uptick. That's a good question.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what it is this weekend.
Okay. So
this weekend, the sports capital of the world is Las Vegas.
Right here in Vegas.
What's going on right here? You've got the Aces.
Yes.
Won 15 in a row.
They
going
have.
into the playoffs. They're going to be playing
phenomenal.
Sunday. They're going to be playing Sunday here over at Mandalay Bay. You've got the fight on Saturday night. Netflix is going to be shown. Tens of hundreds of millions of people are going to watch this with Canelo and Crawford. And then Monday night, you got the Raiders undefeated against the Chargers undefeated. So for this weekend, we finally got to your answer about 3 minutes later. It's Las Vegas.
Yes, and our Cowboys will be in Las Vegas later on in November, mid-November. So, Jim, this was absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for the time. Looking forward to checking out the Hall of Excellence as well here inside the
Please do, the Hall of Excellence. It's a great sports memorabilia in our country's history. We opened it up here at the Fontainebleau Hotel. It happened about 6 or 8 weeks ago. It's got 350 great items, everything from Jackie Robinson's bat to break the color barrier to Tom Brady's 7 rings. Tom's the partner in the museum. He's got his Super Bowl rings in there. We got Babe Ruth's call shot bat. We've got Simone Biles, Michael Phelps, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, you name it.
Unbelievable.
Everything is in there.
Well, looking forward to checking that out.
Hall of Excellence.
Hallofexcellence.org. We'll check it out.
All right.
Well, Jim, thank you so much for the time. This was absolutely a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
And looking forward to seeing you throughout the weekend here in Vegas. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's Jim Gray.